There's a common misconception that Green Berets are these freak athletes or genetically gifted individuals. And in today's video, I'm going to be challenging that a bit and talking about what it actually takes. First off, let's start out with what a Green Beret actually does. Oftentimes people only see the sexy stuff on the internet or direct action, but this is only one of the 7 mission sets within Special Forces. There's a very wide range of skill sets Green Berets develop, which primarily revolve around interpersonal skills. Special Forces were originally created to be force multipliers, meaning they go forward, link up with an indigenous force or partner force, and train them to be self-sufficient and conduct operations. This requires the ability to develop and build relationships with others, be a clear communicator, and have the self-discipline to continue working towards the goal with little or no oversight. Side note, this is why you can't really compare SEALs versus Green Berets or other organizations. The roles are completely different, and for that reason, the respective processes are wildly different as well. With that said, what are the physical requirements? I'll start with Special Forces assessment and selection, then go into the physical demands of a combat operation. Selection is physically challenging and consists of 3 phases. The first phase is all the timed events such as the runs, rucks, and PT test. This is essentially the only time a candidate needs to run and ruck fast. The next phase is land navigation, where candidates carry all of their equipment, which ranges from 55 to 75 pounds depending on how much food and water you have, alone through the woods using only a map and compass. This takes place both at night and during the day. And last is team week. This requires the candidates to come together in teams to solve complex mission sets while carrying their equipment and whatever apparatus may be involved. In short, after the first week, the entirety of selection is more low and slow while carrying heavy weight, but still needing to critically think through difficult challenges. Combat operations are not very different. For example, during the Afghan war, many operations were a POD or period of darkness using a helicopter infill. Physically speaking, this requires you to carry heavy weight, often upwards of 100 pounds, from the helicopter landing zone to the objective, which is typically a couple kilometers away, then spend a few hours at the objective with your gear, clearing the area before moving back to another helicopter landing zone to be picked up. You are walking slowly and with a decent amount of weight for a long period of time. So looking at the physical requirements for both selection and combat operations, which also applies to the entirety of the qualification course, the underlying themes are endurance, strength, and durability. It requires an individual to be very well-rounded, and believe it or not, with the right training, diet, dedication, and time, I believe most able-bodied people in theory could get to this level of physical performance. The difficult part is the level of consistency and dedication required to get there. People see a Green Beret and assume they are this physically gifted individual, but don't see the amount of time and dedication they put into the preparation. So how can someone train to get to that level of performance? Well, it looks different for everyone. Some have a background of playing sports or started training at an early age, so they already have a platform with which to build off of, and others are starting from scratch. While possible for both, the starting point would look a little bit different for each. But let's assume someone was in the middle. They have trained relatively consistently over the last few years, but primarily strength training. This individual would need to build off of that foundation of strength while improving endurance and speed. For endurance, I recommend starting with long, slow runs. Start where you're at, then build up to an hour long, slow run without stopping. Your current ability will play a big factor in how long this process takes. For speed, there needs to be at least one dedicated speed session per week. Start with 100-meter sprints and quarter-mile repeats, then progress up to half, 1, and even 2-mile repeats. Last is rucking. Obviously, this is a huge part of the requirements, but I actually encourage you to focus on your run times first, then start introducing rucking when you're closer to competitive times in both the 2 and 5-mile runs. This allows you to focus on developing the ability to simply move your body over a long period of time before adding weight. Once you do start introducing rucking, start with one every 2 weeks, increasing the mileage and weight over time. Then, as you get closer to an actual gated ruck or a requirement for it, increase that frequency to once per week. Supplement with incline treadmill walks, box step-ups, Bulgarian split squats, etc. For strength, I could care less about your 1 rep max. I talk to a lot of guys who are going to Special Forces assessment and selection or joining the military in general, and lately I've been getting a lot more questions about specific numbers in regards to lifts. Many guys ask if they're going to be competitive if they can't hit X lift, and I'm going to be the first one to tell you that these numbers are mostly irrelevant. If you're someone who has great lifts and is still able to maintain a good run and ruck time, that's awesome. This video is probably not for you anyway. But a big problem I see is younger guys who want to train for the military being told they need to hit a 405 deadlift or a 315 squat, and the problem lies in timing. It takes a long time to properly build up to those weights. So when someone who, for example, is 19 years old and has only been lifting for a relatively short time hears that they need to have a 405 deadlift to go to selection, they overemphasize it, likely progress too quickly, and expose themselves to unnecessary risk of injury. It is absolutely important to build strength, but I think you should focus much more on a slow progression over a long period of time and less on hitting specific numbers. The gym is not the main event. If you're training for the military, special forces selection, or a similar course, the gym is there as a tool to enhance your overall ability to perform in the arena. When we put too much of an emphasis on a specific modality, it's often at the expense of something else. In addition to that, I've seen many more people pass selection and go on to become Green Berets that could not lift that heavy weight than I've seen who could. It's a great tool to enhance overall ability, but should not be treated as the end-all be-all. But you know that simply being physically capable is not enough. You have to perform well mentally and within a team. This requires presence of mind, social and leadership ability, and the ability to think outside the box to develop creative solutions to solve complex problems. Another big thing you need to develop is a strong why. You will never be able to maintain the consistency or dedication needed unless you have a deeply resonating reason for doing so. If you want some help with this, I created a quick video guiding you on exactly how to get started with this, and you can watch it here. And if you are interested in our 90-day program, which includes all of the modalities which I covered in this video, in addition to the mindset training and having me in your corner every step of the way, click the link in the description. And with that, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one.